Let's be real. Learning how to code in 2025 feels way harder than it used to. AI is coming into the picture, so why learn if AI is just going to be able to write the code for you? There's a lot of difficulty when it comes to landing a job in 2025. A bunch of reasons why people would probably think, I should not learn to code in 2025. Stick around because I'm breaking down the pros and the cons of learning to code in 2025 and if it truly is worth it and should you start learning how to code. Number one is that coding is still the highest return on investment thing that you could learn. Craziest thing about all of that is that you don't need a degree, you don't need certification. As long as you have projects that really prove that you know what you're talking about and your problem solving skills, you can get right through the door with all of that knowledge. Number two is that hard work still pays off as long as you put in the work for real. You know exactly where you are going to locate your stuff, like you put it on GitHub, you put it on LinkedIn, you have a social media presence. That hard work will pay off because real web devs are going to end up seeing your stuff and they may try to put little tweaks into your stuff, which will be good for you because that's like a mentorship, and it's also good to have a mentor too. But if you place your content or your apps or your coding in the right area and it gets seen by the right people, you are growing yourself, you are building your brand, you are building yourself to have more potential than the next person who's not building in public to actually get a career because you built in public. You know, back in the day, they still needed to network to be able to get in the industry. But now that we have social media like Discord and we got Instagram, we got YouTube, that's the way we can connect now. Instagram, right? TikTok, right? Trying to build a certain presence, YouTube Shorts. That is the way we can network now. That is the way we can market ourselves. Pro number three is that AI is not going to replace you. It's actually going to amplify you. But you could get left behind if you don't learn the right things when it comes to AI. Because it's possible that AI can take entry-level jobs, which we're getting into later when we get to the cons. But if you learn how to work with AI and you have a bit of experience and understand how to use AI for your benefit, it is a pro to you because AI isn't going to be able to debug. AI isn't going to be able to design exactly what your client wants. AI sometimes messes up its code, even just going a page or two forward. So you being the human need to be there to make sure that AI is designing a clean style for your client. So you're still going to need to know how to code for that. And you're going to have to debug AI's code when they get something wrong. And you're going to have to know how to code for that. So there's going to be a bit of a difference in the industry, but it's not there to replace you because it actually needs your help. If you can code and use AI smartly, you will be a beast. Pro number four is that small businesses need people like you. And the small businesses I'm talking about are like barbers, nail techs, lash techs, hairstylists, right? They need people like you that can just build a simple web page. It's not really a deep involved like app that you need like a whole bunch of different, stuff in there. It's like, no, they just need a simple web page that can market them and that can allow booking, which that's just all the simplicity that you need. So you can make quite good money just off of doing a couple of clients a day, just by going towards barbers, hairstylists, the people that are so quick, maybe the local restaurant, right? It's not going to take too much of your time, but it is, that old man is running. Like, I wish y'all could see him. I didn't even know old people can run. That was crazy. But if you are good at making websites, it's possible to pull in like $100 to $200 a week just by making a couple, maybe 4 websites for $50 a week. That's insane. And pro number 5 is that coding actually gives you leverage in making money in the things that you want to make. For instance, there's a lot of people, instead of choosing the freelance route or a career route, they actually end up building their own startup, and that can make some money. I know we've seen successful startups, we've seen unsuccessful startups, but the point is that coding can allow you to branch out into 3 different ways. Not a lot of careers or degrees or certifications can help you get to that point where you're able to just branch out to a bunch of different things. For instance, with coding, like I said, you can have a 9 to 5. You could do freelance work or even do it as a side hustle. Or, like I said, make your own, which could end up blowing up and getting you hella money if done correctly. That is crazy that with a certain knowledgeable skill, you can go 4 routes in a career. Con number 1 is that you won't end up making money right away. Now, you may make a little bit after 6 months to 12 months, but it's not going to be substantial to have a full-blown career. It's not going to be substantial to be able to be like, you know what, I'm going to quit my real 9 to 5 and be able to pay the bills with coding. And that's where a lot of people quit and a lot of people go wrong. They end up jumping into it thinking that they're getting into coding and that immediately they're going to be making some big bucks. They're going to be making 6 figures a year, maybe even 10K a year. What we need to understand is that that is not the reality. It might have been back in the day, but now that, we need more knowledge and stuff like that to really even land an actual career, making good money like that to cover the bills is actually going to take way longer than you probably would think. So that would be con number 1, but I don't even really think it's a con. I think it's just a perception that people need to lose. But I'll call it a con because a lot of people do end up coming here to try and get quick money, and that is not the case, man. It takes about 6 to even longer months to even learn it. And then you kind of need to build yourself up to be able to deal with clientele. For instance, right now I'm doing a mock client series on my channel where I'm making websites for mock clients. They're fake clients, but if that's going to help me by January when I really want to try and deal with real clients. I'm going to have templates. I'm going to have certain websites I can put on my Instagram to market myself. I'm going to link my YouTube channel if people want to check me out and when I tell them about it. So in the end, that is the way you want to market yourself in that way. You want to get yourself ready to build websites, but it's going to take probably maybe a year before you're really making good money. Don't think it's quick money because it really isn't. That is definitely a con. Con number 2 is that entry-level jobs are the hardest thing to ever get into, because with entry-level jobs, it is a really tough battle to fight because a lot of people are trying to actually get into entry-level jobs. So there's just so much competition trying to get in. But then number 2, they kind of don't need entry-level positions, because with entry-level positions, that was where basic coding would take place. Now that AI can kind of do basic coding, you do need more experience. Back in the day, you could have came in there just learning and got a job just because you were just learning. But now that AI is actually coming into the business of things, it's going to know a bit more of the entry-level stuff. So you actually need some real experience. You need some good projects that show problem-solving skills, debugging skills, a real idea that you've had and that you made into fruition that can solve real-life problems. I think you should always try to shoot for it as a side hustle, then as a freelance job, meaning that that's probably going to be more of your income, or you're trying to shoot for more income in that end. But shoot for it in that way so you can rack up the experience to put on your resume. Con number 3 is that AI is actually misleading people, because people are thinking, why learn how to code because AI is in the picture? But the thing is that if you don't know how to code, then you're not going to be able to correct AI where it needs correction. You're going to fall behind if you're not learning how to actually code. There's a lot of people who I think are considered vibe coders, which just, chat with AI. They try to get things done through AI creating it. But the thing is we need to actually learn how to code, just so when AI fumbles, we can fix it. Because if you don't know how to code, you can't fix it, right? It's going to be quite difficult. So AI is misleading people, man. They're thinking that they can just sit around, probably use ChatGPT the whole way through to get a job. And that's just not going to be the case, because when you actually run into an issue that you cannot solve, but should be solvable, it's going to show that you lack the experience. That's not going to look too good it's not going to look too good. And then con number 4 is that people run into burnout, and then that ultimately turns into giving up. And it's because of the mindset. That's why I believe a lot of people will fail when it comes to coding. And it's not because they aren't smart enough. It's not because there's not enough jobs. It's not because, just anything. It is truly comes down to the fact that people have the wrong mindset, and it results in them quitting, or it results in burnout, because they want it to be quick. They want to get their money fast. They thought it was going to be a quick process. They thought they would learn fast. And when they end up running into stumbling block, they don't end up persevering, because it is factual. Not a lot of people have discipline. And because of that, discipline is truly what allows you to continue coding. Now, I am 100% going to make a video on how you can stay disciplined through coding. But if you lack the discipline, you are going to quit. You are going to give up, because it's not going to be quick. So the question is coding worth it in 2025? And I will say absolutely. As long as you treat it as a craft, you treat it as a skill, rather than treating it as a quick way out or just some easy way to make some good money. Most people don't make it because they expect it to be quick, but if you stay consistent, disciplined, and understand how to work with AI, you'll get right in there very fast. See y'all later. Deuces.